Have you ever thought about a Shakespeare play with an all black cast? Well, my special guest today, writer director Darius Daughtry, is going to talk about how he came up with this vision of a stage play, a Shakespeare play, now cast with all Black actors. The name of the play is Merchants of Venice. It will be live on stage this weekend, Thursday through Sunday. And I'm so glad he's here for this exclusive interview on the Suzette Speaks show to talk about his journey into the arts and arts education and how his special organization, Art Prevails, now helps young people get involved in the arts throughout South Florida. So he's here today to talk about what it's like to be a director, a writer, now a producer, an actor, a poet. Yes, he's so multi-talented. He's representing for the brothers very well today. And I'm excited to have him on this beautiful July 4th. Happy July 4th, everybody. It's been already a turned up weekend for some of us. We're not going to talk about it, but we definitely invite you to come, ask your questions, and like I said, take a peek behind the curtain. This is Black Shakespeare in South Florida this weekend. Grab your tickets now. And my special guest, like I said, is writer and director, Mr. Darius Daughtry. Let me say hello real quick. Hit the like button if you're watching on Facebook. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. It's a beautiful day in Miami. If you're watching on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the like button. Please comment and even share the stream. Let other people be able to see it. And again, we're so grateful that you're here on this beautiful holiday, enjoying some good conversation. What we do here on the Suzette Speaks show is we try to enlighten, educate, and inspire you, hopefully to become a better version of yourself while also, learning something new. So if you enjoy deep dive conversations with a personal development twist, get better, y'all, get better, grow better, you're in the right place. And I appreciate you watching and subscribing. So before I bring him on, let me say a quick hello to my folks in the chat. It is one of those fun holiday Mondays where you get to kind of forget that, oh, wait, I'm off today. That was me today. Shout out to RM. I see you in the chat. Shout out to Reese the Dragon. What's up, Bernard? Great to see you. Yo, Corey. Hi, what's going on? Andrew said, all love and respect. Awesome. Great to see you, Miss AKA Lady. I am so excited. Hey, Ernest, glad to have you. Teddy Beverly in the building. Welcome. And again, how am I watching these wonderful folks chime in? Well, they're in the chat. So please don't be bashful. If you're on Facebook, I might not be able to see it right away. But if you're over on YouTube, oh, you know what to do. Hit the like button, drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. But if for folks in South Florida or people who want to fly in, there's a fantastic play that is happening Thursday through Sunday. As I said, I was so curious about it. And I know this person, like in full disclosure, in real life. He has always been kind of just a performing arts phenom. And he's taken his talents to like the Performing Arts Center downtown. And I'm really excited to see him continue to blossom in his gifting. So if you are into the arts, if you just want to support beautiful Black art, this is the show for you. Yes, I did a little fetting. Please keep it off the please keep it off the YouTube, Miss AKA Lady. You know how it is. Happy 4th. Hey, good afternoon, Brown Gal Peace Lounge. So without further ado, I want you guys to meet him. I want you guys to get to know his story. And I want you guys to hopefully be inspired. Whatever your gifting is, this is the type of show where if his is in the performing arts realm, wherever yours is, the beauty is to live in it, step out into it, and manifest, right? Grab hold of it. Don't be afraid to play big. A lot of us play small and we miss out on our blessings. So there's a lot to learn from Mr. Darius Daughtry. Andrew says, to be or not to be. That's my Shakespeare for this morning. That is the question. 'Tis nobler in the mind to suffer things, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or take up arms at sea of troubles, and by opposing them. And what is going on, Andrew? You know the whole verse in the what do they call these? Not stanzas. There's a word for it. But my goodness, we got Shakespeareans out here who know the art. Hi, Aisha. Nice to see you. Good to see you so much. So happy to see you. Sorry, on this Saturday, I'm trying to read the chat. I'll do a little bit more of that as I bring him up. But right now, is that Hamlet? Thank you. I knew it, Andrew, but I couldn't tell you what play he came from. But without further ado, I said, I'm really grateful that he's here talking about this very, very special work of art that will be open to the public. You can get your tickets, and we're going to support him every way we know how. So without further ado, I'm grateful that he's here. Y'all welcome for the first time to the Suzette Speaks show, none other than Darius V. Daughtry. How are you?
Hey, what's happening, Suzette? I'm good. How you doing?
I'm so excited to have you, man. Thank you for joining me on this holiday. Happy 4th to you.
Happy day. Happy day to
Yeah,
you.
you're like, we celebrate on the black side. I know, I
Yeah,
know,
so,
I know.
we just did, Juneteenth a couple weeks
So
ago,
we still on that.
but we're still here.
Yeah, right. So we
Yeah,
got a lot of our heroes. Here we go to celebrate for sure on this day. If you're observing, happy 4th to you. It's an exciting time to, just listen to someone's journey who I think is inspiring, unique, and hopefully has some meaning to someone else in terms of helping them to live their fullest potential out in whatever their gifting is. So Darius, I gave you a tall order. Grace Arts FL says, thank you for sharing this production and the dazzling cast. Hope to see you soon. Thank you, Grace Arts. Darius, where can we start? What can you tell the people about yourselves? About yourself? I'm sorry, this is that type of morning to
cool.
let me
I
the
got
fourth.
multiple personalities or
I
something.
enjoyed myself yesterday, y'all. Please don't judge me. I'm here to support my brother here, but I'm going to turn it over to you, Darius. Please introduce yourself to the folks.
Yeah, first I give a shout out to Andrew that dropped the whole soliloquy.
Yes, soliloquy.
November.
That's the
Yeah,
word.
yeah. Shout out to Andrew on that. So yeah, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Talk about my journey and talk about this extremely special and important project that we have this week. So my name is Darius V. Daughtry, and thanks for adding that V in there. It's important. That's part of who I am. I'm a native of South Florida. I am a poet, playwright, director, educator, founder, and artistic director of Art Prevails Project, which is a nonprofit social impact performing arts organization that is committed to bringing equitable access to arts programming and education. So, we do work in schools and detention centers and community spaces. We teach creative writing, theater, dance, music, songwriting, and we do full productions and community events, and we curate dope things that are around cultural relevance, and just doing things that are about connecting and uplifting and building and such. So yeah, so it's interesting. July is a busy month for me, so I have this project which is Merchants of Venice. So Grace Arts in the comments. So that's the actual company, that organization that commissioned me to do this. And so that's July 7th through the 10th at the Victory Black Box Theater, which is at the new YMCA, which is on Sistrunk Boulevard here in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. I
yeah,
didn't know it was over there.
yeah,
Good. That
yeah.
is this like one of the first productions that will be in that black box?
Yeah, so I think it actually is like the first professional production in there. I think they did a children's play, like a YMCA children's play there, which is all great.
Wow.
But yes, it's like one of the first professional joints that are going to be in.
Oh my God, I have to get a ticket. I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
excited.
get a ticket. All
So
y'all.
I'm gonna be there. If I do, I'm gonna do it a little behind the scenes on my Patreon only. You gotta know I keep it exclusive, but y'all can be there in person. So what is so interesting about that for those of you who don't know, South Florida, that's like the Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach areas, that specific YMCA is a huge deal because it's in the heart of the historically Black community of Fort Lauderdale. It's on a street named Sistrunk Boulevard, named after Dr. Sistrunk. I got to teach the people. Dr. Sistrunk was the first Black doctor in the Fort Lauderdale area. Get goosebumps. Thank you again. July 4th, we remember our heroes. And he delivered almost like every Black baby for like 50 years, something crazy like that. And Dr. Sistrunk, along that boulevard, is where a newly built huge facility, YMCA, has just gone up. And I didn't even know they had a black box.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
so, yeah, right. So it's the Victory Black Box Theater, and in there you see a plaque, and there it talks about Providence. So Providence Hospital is what the name of the hospital.
The Black hospital in Fort
Yeah,
Lauderdale, the original hospital where everybody was born,
yeah,
Providence Hospital.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, it's dope. It's so
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is
so
historic.
it is
Oh
historic,
man.
and for the the first professional project for me to be a part of that
Yes.
is especially being a South Florida, Fort Lauderdale native. Like growing up right around the corner from where this is now. Like it's powerful, and to do something like this play that is about um, we took a little bit. I'll kind of give a little. I'm not gonna give too much about the play. You got to come see it.
Well, hold on. Before you get into the play, let's get a little bit more about you.
Okay.
I know.
We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back.
I'll bring it back. Bring it back. I'm so excited. Let me do a quick reset here because many people have joined us. Welcome. If you're watching Team Replay, welcome as well. If you're watching live, what's up to my people? Drop a comment. Let us know you're watching in the chat. I'm speaking with writer-director Darius D. Daughtry of the new play that will be at the Black Box at the YMCA. In the Victory Black Box at the YMCA on the historic Sistrunk Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. And this play will be running Thursday through Sunday this weekend. You can get your tickets now, supporting this amazing and historic work of art. Black Shakespeare in South Florida is the title of today's show. We want to show him some love, and I'm just trying to give you some foundation as far as his journey to getting here. Everybody likes to see the finished product, but I think it's also important to know how people kind of develop. So I want to back up a little bit in terms of your own development, in terms of getting into the arts. Were you a person that always loved, were you in a church choir? Did you like to sing and dance?
Oh, definitely.
You in a break dance group?
Definitely not the choir. I was definitely not in the choir.
You weren't in the choir? That's like a first.
So I wanted to be, but my uncle, actually, so it was my granddaddy's church, but they wouldn't let me be in the choir because I did like your voice is horrible. Your singing voice is horrible. Like I got no kind of pitch, no.
I never heard them ever turning away anybody, but you must have been a special case.
I was an usher. I had to be an usher. Like,
I love it.
I'm looking at these fans. But so I'll tell you, like honestly, like in some way, the arts was always a part of me, but it really started when I was around 8 years old. Actually, I was like this quiet kid, just disconnected, but angry at the same time. And a counselor gave me a notebook and a pen and told me to write down my feelings. He was the first like, hey, write down your feelings, write down what you're feeling, what's going on, because that can help you. And it did. And so at first, those first things I wrote down were just a bunch of like curse words or something like to my dad. But then that developed for me into, okay, I'm writing stories, or I'm writing what would turn into poems or rap, because I thought I was gonna be a rapper at some point as well. And yeah, I did break dance too. So I did break dance,
I can kind of tell. I could kind of tell them break dancers. I could kind of tell.
Yeah,
okay,
I did listen. But so yeah, so I, over the years, that was it. And my mother put me into like, she's like, oh man, you're talented. So I was going around on like castings and auditions. So I did a couple commercials, a few like little TV after school special stuff, some stuff like that. And then I was went to performing arts middle school at Parkway for 1 year. I went there for 1 year because I had to get away from my other school, which was pretty dangerous. So I went there and got into the drama program, and then really kind of started honing my craft as an actor and like connecting more to like, oh, I can be creative and doing things of that nature. And then I had the sublime pleasure of meeting a particular teacher, and I went to high school, went to Boyd Anderson High School, and I had an English teacher who was the first really to look at my writings, which I was like, oh, this is some poetry, but I wasn't showing people because that's not what you do. Like I ain't really, like, oh, like who I write poems. I'm telling my boys I wrote poems. That wasn't what I was doing back then, But she looked at my writing and she's like, hey, this is something here. You should kind of think about this. And she introduced me to like some other writers that I had known. She was a white teacher, but she introduced me to a bunch of like Black poets and Black writers and playwrights and stuff. She's like, here, read all these books. I'm like, I'm not trying to read all this stuff. And she's like, read all this stuff, And so I read it, and I'm like, oh wow, like my mind was kind of open, the floodgates kind of just came open, and I was like, oh, I'm in love, and this is me. I'm reading this. I'm reading Baldwin and Amiri Baraka and who else? Donnell Lee and Nikki Giovanni and just all these different things. And I'm like, oh man, they sound like me. Because at that time, what's interesting, I was into Shakespeare. I was like, I thought like Shakespeare was like his sonnets were amazing. I'm like, oh man, if I can write these sonnets. So I had all these sonnets I used to write, trying to be like Shakespeare. And then I was introduced to, a lot of these Black writers, and I was kind of just pulled in. And so, that helped me get to where I am right now, which and ultimately.
So did you do? That's amazing. So shout out to good teachers.
Yeah.
Shout out to teachers of all backgrounds, all colors and races and ethnicities and everything else that inspire people to step into their giftings. So shout out to her and whoever else helps build each and every one of us along the pathway in a positive way, encourages you and says, yeah, look at these writers. So kind of started out sounding like therapy in a way to get out feelings. Y'all come on, hit the like button. I'm with writer, director Darius V. I should have put the V in. Let me update it. I put the V right there. Yeah, so put some respect on his name so that you guys know who is the visionary, who is the incredibly talented mastermind behind this one-of-a-kind play coming to the South Florida area, to your local, and for those watching from down here, to your local Victory Black Box Theater. Y'all come up to Fort Lauderdale this weekend at the newly built. And if you guys see this YMCA building, you'll know why I'm making a big deal. It is state of the art. I didn't even know there was a black box inside there. So it's a big deal to put it in the heart of the African-American community in Fort Lauderdale. So I didn't know that. That's awesome. That this play is just very symbolic and, all around. Y'all hit the like button as you come in. Topic for today, Black Shakespeare. All right. So we hear the formative years. We hear where it comes from. So again, nurture. Thank you, God, for people that nurture gifts in young people. And you can hear that it was, again, healing in a sense for you too. So do you do the college thing? Do you major in like arts, or what was your path beyond that?
Yeah. So what's interesting about that is that, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to college. I got into whatever school I wanted to. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to college. Like, what am I going to do? I want to do something creative. I want to write. But honestly, I had no real role models that taught me that was okay. So the idea of like going to college was like, oh, you better go get a job. You better go and do something where you're gonna write. And so there's nothing. Nobody in my life was pursuing their dreams in that manner. Like people had, I was one of the first in my family to go to college, but everybody else is going. They're working. They got a job. And they're just working. Or they're teachers. And I was not. In my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to be a teacher. That's not gonna happen.
Right.
So I initially went to school for accounting. Accounting. So okay, I'll do accounting because I was good at it, and I'll write, on the side. And while I was in college, it was like, what am I doing? It was like, what am I doing? And because I was falling asleep in my accounting classes, and spending my nights, I would be up writing scripts and poems and stuff, and then go to sleep. That for like 2 hours and try to go to class and do work. And, so I made it through college. I made it through.
I know the feeling more than you know, and I don't want to make this about me. This is your moment, sir. But I know the feeling more than you know that I just don't fit in. I'm doing what is protocol, what is being taught to me. I should enjoy this process. But in college, I was always out of the classroom doing everything else but studying, even though I did get good grades. Mm-hmm. So it was like the out of the classroom experience was most formative for me. Yeah. Shout out to Miss AKA Ladies. She asked, I might have to come down. She's in, I think, the Orlando area. This sounds like, right, let's go. Like, this sounds like a great play to see. Is it traveling or will it be?
We'll see. We'll see. Well, I mean,
he's like, let me get through this weekend first.
Yeah, Miss AKA come down. And then tell everybody in Orlando that needs to come there. She helps up there.
I have to look because I have a show Thursday. I have a show tomorrow. Let me just let y'all know I have a show tomorrow about Chadwick Boseman's estate with Sandy B. Law coming through tomorrow, 7 p.m. Thursday, I'm moderating a political debate. Saturday, I don't know what I'm doing, but it'll probably be this weekend. I'll probably have more time to come through. And you said it's Thursday, Friday. What time is it? Is there more than one showing, or is it one per night?
So it's one per night, except on Sunday there's a matinee and an evening show.
Oh, bring the family, y'all. That's beautifully. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. People are excited in the chat. Shout out to Noble in the chat. I have not seen you over here. Shout out to David Hunt. I see you, brother, coming in from Massachusetts, showing some love. Respect to all my brothers I see Doug, I see you. I see all Sunbreeze RM. Thank you. They're busy throwing out where to get tickets. Let's go. Thank you very much. For if you guys are in the chat or if you're watching the replay, check the chat for where you can buy tickets for the show, Merchants of Venice, that will be staged at the Victory Theater, Black Box Theater at the YMCA, a newly renovated, huge YMCA in the heart of the Black community on Sistrunk. In Fort Lauderdale on Sistrunk Boulevard, and just rest in peace to Dr. Sistrunk. So thinking about your journey, you're like, I went to college because I had to, was going to be an accountant, but was like, this is crazy. I'm not really feeling any of it. I get that. And so does one come out of school like, let me start, working in the arts? Is that your journey, or how do you kind of balance both?
Yeah, eventually. So I initially said, oh, I'm going to go to New York and try to figure this out in New York. And then it got cold, and I'm from Fort Lauderdale, and I'm like, yeah, this is stupid. I'm like,
never mind.
Yeah, this ain't for me. Like, not like that. Especially like when I was trying to figure it out. Maybe if I had gone and had it already figured out, then I would have stuck it out. But I'm like, yeah, let me bounce. So I came back home and I bounced around, did some stuff. Worked corporate America for a while. But at the same time, kind of, still developing my craft and working and writing and performing and things like that. And then a couple months ago, I said, yeah, I was never going to be a teacher, but then I became a teacher. Then I was like, oh, I'm going to be
that's a beautiful thing. Yes.
Yeah. So I was inspired by my little cousin, because she was like, oh, the teachers don't care about us. Nothing's happening in school. And so I'm like, well, you know what I'm doing right now is making decent money, but I'm not passionate about it. I'm not really, doing anything that's really mattering. So, okay, let's do this. And so I went and did what I had to do, and I became a teacher, and I ended up teaching for 10 years.
Wow.
So I started teaching like reading and English, because I ultimately got a degree in finance and English. And so that's what I left school with, degrees in finance and English. And then I taught English and reading, but also I was able to teach a creative writing class and then teach theater as well. And what happened while I was there is like I saw the power and how the same way that the arts impacted me and transformed me, how that did the same thing for my students. And so that led me into like really pour myself more into like, how can I take what I'm doing here, me infusing the arts into what I'm doing, into like this kind of, not only do it in the classroom, but how do I impact and affect larger community and society? And so that goes into me starting my organization, Arbor Girls Project. But at the same time, so when I was, teaching high school and teaching theater, we were at a school where we couldn't afford to buy the licenses for the plays and stuff. So I was writing all the plays, and I was writing, and teaching the students how to write, their own plays and stuff. And, that just became this great training ground for me to do what it is that I'm doing right now.
Amazing. So thinking about how sometimes when we get these struggles and these, oh my gosh, we can't afford the license to the play, I write my own, and look how that becomes wonderful practice, good training ground. Also, a way to impart that skill to the next generation as well. And so you have your own plays. Look at that magic. And so the skill of learning to write plays on your own, I'm sure must have been, wow, not just helpful. I'm just thinking about how, let's talk about Art Prevails first, the organization, and then we'll talk about the crafting of Merchants of Venice. And because I was thinking, like, I can see how you can put your own stamp on it now. So let me first, since you mentioned the organization, when was it founded? And I love what you're doing with it. Just talk about some of the projects you're working on with it. And ladies in the chat, please drop the Art Prevails website, please, in the chat. But talk more about the organization you founded.
Yeah, so we founded in 2016. And like I said, it's the mission is to create access and equitable access, because what I saw was that, a lot of people, depending upon socioeconomic status or, race or whatever community they live in, they don't have access to, programming of like arts programming. Like, depending upon the school you go to, you might not get an arts class ever, right? Because, or what your grades are like or whatever. And so the mission of our purpose project is to help bridge those gaps, specifically for Black and underserved or under-resourced communities. So so I started that in 2016, and it's about not only about teaching, like here's this, I'm going to teach you how to do this, but also providing these opportunities for you to come and experience this artistic experience. So we do performances and things in communities. So we do pop-up performances in communities throughout South Florida. We curate events in spaces, but then we also do a full theatrical production. Like we're like a performing arts company. So last year we did 2 different productions at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. This year, after Merchants of Venice, I have another stage reading at the Broward Center for another play, because the whole goal of that is that knowing the impact and the power of not only participating in an artistic practice, but also just seeing it. Like if I'm able to go and see a play, and I see people on the stage that look like me, like what does that do for me? Like how does that if I'm going to see something or hear something and I'm hearing my story, I feel more validated. I feel more empowered in that. So those are the things that we look to do. Do that, and also we like I'm all about upliftment and empowering our people. So
Absolutely.
we utilize the arts as an engine for social justice and as a way to get conversations rolling, through the arts.
Listen, the arts are so powerful when it comes to understanding yourself as a human being, understanding and relating and empathizing with others. I think I don't know who dropped a comment saying, yes, there's a lot of arts programs being cut back, but just understanding how powerful a tool it can be in terms of building self-confidence in young people and in adults, honestly. And again, having you become aware of the experiences, the language, the thought process, the becoming of someone else, so that you can get removed from. And when you talk about like underserved communities and populations, how it can limit our mind.
Right.
We're stuck on our block. We never see past our blocks. And so it's kudos to you, sir, for
Yeah.
using art prevails to open up people's minds. I remember even being in drama in high school and going to plays and seeing some, like, I'm talking about elegant Black women. And I was like, oh, yes. Like the imagery of that stuck with me. And like, I can be that. I don't have to be
Right.
this, you know?
So like the idea of possibility,
Yeah.
right? So I think once people have this possibility and permission. So going back to me and I didn't feel like I had the permission to do what I'm doing right now when I was going to college. I didn't have the permission to do that. No one gave me that permission.
Yeah, I
And
hear you.
I didn't know that was possible, right? For me, I like, okay, yeah, that's those people, that's for them, but for me, this is not possible. And so if I can help anybody else feel like they have the permission and that it is possible, then like what else can I do? That's
Let's go. Pay it
yeah,
forward. Let's
yeah.
go. You got fans in the chat. Hold on, let me check the chat real quick. Talking about his mission as well as his art this weekend. Writer, director Darius Daughtry of Merchants of Venice, an all-Black staged Shakespearean play that will take place this weekend in South Florida. Come on down if you guys want to experience something very unique. I know this man does poetry nights, all kinds of work down here. I've seen events of his that were just spectacular. So now putting your hand to something like this, I know it's going to be amazing. And I'm grateful to have a role in just helping people to learn about it. But check out the website, buy a ticket, support Black art. And I might have to be in the crowd. I don't know. I don't know what day there is, but I'm going to support you.
Saturday,
I'm
you said
proud
Saturday.
of you.
I
I'm
probably said
glad
Saturday.
you. Yeah, we can't tell all our business, but we're gonna
Okay.
figure it out
All right, my bad. I'm not gonna say. Okay, cool.
after the show. After the show, we're gonna talk about which day is best.
Yeah.
Hit the like button, y'all. Show some love. Share. Write a comment. Let us know your thoughts. But I saw folks saying what's up to you. Hey, Darius says, N Welch. Hey, Darius, how are you? N Welch, nice to
Hey, and
see
well,
you. Everybody's saying what's up. Thank you. Facts and the Uncomfortable Truth with Bernard S. Suzette and Darius, big salute. Thank you so much. Miss AKA Lady with the question says, how many plays? Wow, how many plays have you written? Do you really know?
So I'm gonna say so completely written because I have like probably like 15 that are like incomplete. But
Oh,
but
that's the genius, though. That's that
yeah,
genius.
so that I've written and I'll say that I've put on stage. I've in some form or fashion about 12
Oh,
that
wow.
and so I do a series called the Happening, a theatrical mixtape. So
Mm-hmm.
we've had 3 volumes of that, and so those are it's an eclectic kind of combination of theater, music, and dance that attacks a certain social issue or is geared to a certain theme. So the last one we did in October was the tagline was a woman's worth. So it was all about um, women and the empowerment of women and just kind of telling stories of women and such. So I wrote that with the help and guidance of some of the amazing, wonderful women that I know in my life who I interviewed and talked to and got direction to make sure that I wasn't just trying to
I
mansplain.
should have seen that one. Let me
You
see.
still seeing that. You still seeing that for sure. You know.
Awesome. So more 12 and up, let's just say.
Mhm.
Super talented folks. I know sometimes is it for you? You are a person that in your creative process, do you dream about your plays? Do you have it come to you in the middle of the night and get up and start writing? Is it that you set quiet time, go to Starbucks and just write with intention? What is your creative process like in writing?
All of that. So all of that is the thing. So
Okay.
I write daily. So like every single day I'm writing. I get but sometimes that means I sit there and nothing comes out, right? Like, but I sit there and had the intention to sit there and make something happen. And so I give it respect and I give the process respect and space. But also, at one point I'm so much better now. At one point I didn't sleep at all. Like
Oh, wow.
I was up late working, writing, creating, and then I would get up early and do the same thing and whatever. I'm a little better now.
So
But
yeah, you gotta be good to yourself and your
yeah,
mind so your mind comes through. But sometimes I know people who have that kind of giftedness or that almost genius. It's like it doesn't leave them. And they have to kind of constantly keep going,
yeah,
let it out, so more can come in. But I hear you on that.
yeah.
When it's the passion, it's like it's. I don't want to say it's controlling you,
I
but it's
mean,
controlling you in a
but it
sense.
kind of, I mean, like for me, one of the best things that the best inventions is the phone. So I don't like my cell phone just because, the access and everything. I don't like it like that. But the
Hmm.
fact that I can just take it out and record something real quick and have a thought, I can record it or type in the notes really fast because there's always something popping in my mind. Something I'm seeing is always going to inspire me or, drive me to think about this thing or just a line, a piece of dialogue, a part of a poem or something is always there. So the fact that I can just really quickly notate that and that's
Yeah, that is good.
a lot.
Sometimes I don't go back to my notes, but yeah, I love the note-taking features. Somebody says, good question. Awesome. Hello, the Miss Creative. Happy Independence. Happy 4th to you as well. RM says, and I see a couple questions, I'll get to them, y'all. Says, Suzette, is Darius V related to actor Ernie Hudson? The resemblance is remarkable. Who is Ernie Hudson? Do you know who that is?
Yeah. So I mean, the initial thing I think of is the original Ghostbusters, the black man from Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's who
Yeah.
it is.
So,
I see
so
it,
no,
RM.
not that I know of, not that I know of, but
Hey,
if you know him, tell
one
me
blood,
more.
baby. One bloodline.
You
You might,
know, and,
you never
if,
know.
if he needs
Great,
somebody
great
to
grands.
play him in the biopic, I can
You know who to
do
call.
it. So
Let's go. A
so,
couple questions. Thank you. Yes, Miss AKA Lady. Absolutely. Arts preserves culture. 100%. Without art, history is also very heavy. Like the retelling of our history, we need these things. And sometimes it's better to do it in an artistic form. Absolutely.
well,
Um,
yo, if I can say like with that, like that's the what without art, then you're dependent upon these like so-called historians to tell the story. And so, like, who has control over the narrative? And oftentimes the real stories that, and you get to the meat of it is, the artists have, in song and poem and play and film, right, that are telling these stories that we oftentimes we're just like, oh, okay, well, the history book says this, so then that's what it is.
You gotta tell your own story. My mom always say that. You gotta tell your own story. I love it. Somebody says, A question: is it easy directing a cast? What do you look for? I'm just asking. I'm not asking. No, just curious. That's a good question. So you cast this play?
Yes.
Okay. Is it easy to
No.
both select and direct?
No. So to direct is not easy. To casting, it depends, right? So I've been blessed to work with some people. So some of the times it's just easy. Like I know these people and they'll be great for this role, and I can just pull and pluck them and be like, hey, this for this for that. But when you have to have an open casting process, it can be difficult sometimes because you can either have a bunch of people and it's like, oh, I got to try to choose out of these, or you can have like almost nobody that fits what you're looking for, and you got to like kind of figure it out and make it happen. So that part isn't easy. But the directing is not an it's a it can be challenging just because you have a lot of different personalities in the space. And so I've been blessed. Like this cast that I have for this show is a great cast. They are talented and humble, and so they're all connected and working like seamlessly together, and they're putting in the work. And so for me, it's all about like how much work are you willing to put in. If you're gonna put in the work, then we're straight. If you walk in and think that, oh, you got this, or you don't need the work, or it'll just be easy, then it becomes more of a struggle. And
So do we have a good acting pool here in South Florida?
yeah, so I think there's a great acting pool in South Florida. I think it's tough because a lot of some of our amazing talent leave. Right, we have
Hmm.
a lot of they leave. They're like, okay, well, the opportunities aren't here, so I got to go. So they
Absolutely.
leave, whether it's New York, California, or Atlanta. They're leaving to pursue things, and I'm with it. I'm like, yo, that's what you got to do.
No, you can't be mad at people for
Yeah,
trying to find the next opportunity.
yeah.
So directing, you said they're a humble class, they're easy to kind of lead.
Yeah, so for me, my style is I like to be as collaborative as possible, and
Hmm.
so I give them I want to hear what they think. I have thoughts, I have a vision of what I want to see, and there's certain things that I'm like, okay, yeah, this has to be this way. But for the most part, I'm like, let's kind of co-create. Like, here's the script, here's where we're trying to go. Let's see how you all want to get there. And so I'm really about like, okay, I'm going to give you this reign and to you to do whatever you want to do. And then if it ain't working, we can pull it back. If it's over the top or if it's not enough, we'll push you a little bit, right? So, it's just really about kind of being humble enough. Like I gotta like really for one of the things I like to learn is to take my ego out of it a lot, right? Because I'm like, oh well, this is my vision, this is what I see, and it has to be just this way. And then no matter what, so no, you got to walk in this manner and say the words exactly this way and raise your hand at this moment and then put it down in three. Like, and I'm like, yeah, nah, that's not. That's let's get out of that because that isn't serving the process. That isn't serving the full experience. So take my ego out of it and allow them because they're casted because they're talented and they're here because they're amazing. So let allow their ability to shine. And that what happened for me to get to that point was that I had been directing a little bit and then I went and acted in someone else's play. And then I'm like, oh damn, this is how like yeah, nah, this is not good. Because the way that that particular director was directing me was the way in which I wasn't able to fully be myself in the space. And so I'm like, oh, well, I need to make sure that I am not being like that. So
Overly, yeah.
yeah,
What should I say? Not allowing them to have some creative license
right,
in what they're doing. Sometimes people get like, I don't want to say controlling might be too strong of a word, but want to influence every move a person makes and stuff like that. I think
mhm,
sometimes again, trust the process, trust the actor.
right,
You hired them to hopefully bring
mhm,
that creativity. I dropped the link, guys, in case you want to come up and ask questions directly. You can. So I definitely dropped the link. I want to see what other questions are in the chat. Let's see. Reach the Red Dragon from Philly. How are you? Nice to meet you. That's my Game of Thrones expert.
oh,
And Reese, I
okay,
was going to ask you, there were a couple shows I was wondering if you could, or I didn't want to like ask you on the spot, but there were some Game of Thrones metaphors I could think about. I was like, Reese would be perfect for it. But we just did a show called Pretty Privilege. I did flash it up here. Y'all go back and watch Pretty Privilege. My bad. But it was a wonderful show. And apparently there was a spinoff show from yesterday's show, or from when was Pretty Privilege, Saturday, show by a gentleman by the name of Noble, and did a show rating the women of YouTube. And I apparently was rated yesterday. I didn't know how to feel about that.
Oh, well,
Couple people sent me the link. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not really on. I was asking if men have pretty privilege, and I thought R. Kelly was a good example of that in terms of pretty privilege, running out, if you will. Oh, in addition to his behavior, but go back and watch Pretty Privilege, y'all. It was a great show. But today I'm here with none other than Mr. Darius V. Daughtry. He is the writer and director of Merchants of Venice, Black Take. I don't know how to say that. Shakespearean play with an all-black cast might be better this weekend live in South Florida at the Victory Black Box at the YMCA, the newly renovated huge space there on historically black cis trunk. We down here, we'd say six trunk. Cis trunk. My mom still say six trunk. Cis Trunk Boulevard, named for the late Dr. Cis Trunk, the first and only Black doctor, OBGYN, that gave or helped give birth to almost, if you were in Fort Lauderdale of a certain age, you were born with the assistance of Dr. Cis Trunk at the historically black hospital named Providence Hospital. We're going to teach a little bit. We still in the spirit of Juneteenth as well as July 4th. But shout out to Darius. This is a huge undertaking. Hearing a little bit about his process, hearing about how he is inspired. So grateful. Reese, I'm gonna get back to you on some of that Game of Thrones stuff, but I was thinking about it in terms of pretty privilege, Game of Thrones, and then there was a show right before that, When to Ask Your Spouse for Permission. Reese, there was so much of Game of Thrones. We're both Game of Thrones fans. But anyway, getting back to why we're here, I'm gonna keep reading a few questions again. Y'all don't be bashful. Miss AKA Lady says, when did you feel like you got permission? And how did you get it? So stepping into your truth, for those who are just joining, Mr. Daughtry talked about, and I felt the same way. There's so much about your story that I can relate to, where, I like media, I like hosting, I like the other stuff, but it was always this, be a serious, professional. And there's only one formula to success. So when or what made you feel like you finally took ownership or gave yourself permission to step into your love, your passion, and going full force into the arts?
Man, to say full force, because again, even I graduated college and I went to New York, and I'm like, that was kind of there, but I'm like, yeah, I'm still wavering on it, and that's when I came home. So I think it wasn't until when I was teaching. I think it really kind of came while I was teaching, and working with the students, and kind of I'm in there with them, and I'm working with them, and I'm giving them these opportunities and teaching them and telling them that, hey, go and pursue this thing. Hey, go and, you like this? Oh, yeah, well, go to California and go try to do this. And like I'm telling them all these things, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm sitting here,
my safe zone. Yep.
What am I doing? Like, what are you doing? And I had to kind of have a come to Jesus moment myself, and honestly, I believe in who I am and my abilities and my talent, but like, why aren't you acting on it, like for real? Like, why aren't you like for real putting it out there? You kind of doing enough that to satiate certain things, but like, I will do something more, and so like it was really, that was a great question. So really, it was me teaching and me preaching to them
to go for it.
And I had to turn around and talk to myself.
Exactly. You're like, wait a minute, I need to do this. Help me. Oh God, I hear it. Sometimes it does take that wake up call of encouraging someone else to do the very thing that you should be doing. And we're not perfect. We're all works of progress. So it's a good thing. And it's a great thing that we can hear, that aha moment for you, because some of us may need one as well. So thank you for that. You guys get your tickets for Merchants of Venice. It is going to be an amazing show at the Black Box, the Victory Black Box Theater. 4-day run, 2 shows on Sunday, matinee as well. So make sure. So
listen, and on that,
go ahead.
with the play. So just so you know, real quick, if a group of 5 people go on Eventbrite, check it out. If 5 people can come for free. which is,
Oh,
if you got 5 folks, like you, your auntie, your sister, and your 2 little your niece and nephew, bring all 5 of y'all. You can come for free. You just gotta put in on Eventbrite. What is it? She Got Game Group. Like that is the
She
uh,
Got Game Group is the code?
right, the code. She Got Game Group is the code.
Wow. So should I go get my little cousins and let's make it a
Yes,
party?
make the party.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I will have to pick up the youngins, the middle schoolers, and I have a few in elementary school actually.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
5. Oh my. Oh
Yeah,
my. That's
yeah,
amazing.
that is.
Give back always. So let's talk about the play. Guys,
Yeah,
he has a few more minutes and I want to make sure we get some basics. Don't give everything away.
yeah.
Our Miss AKA lady says, I love hearing about teachers who went after their dreams. There is no better way to inspire kids than to go get it yourself. Let's go.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Talking a little Black's Shakespeare. So you came up with this play. How?
So, talking about first, I'm gonna like now, like I don't know, I may just call myself Black Shakespeare from now on. I just
Woo!
made that. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I don't know. I got to think about it and how I how,
You're welcome.
how I feel about Black Shakespeare, because they're not using Shakespeare as like the model. Yeah, no. So I'll think about it, but I like it. But I got to see if I want to use it. So what's interesting? So I've been playing around with Shakespeare stuff for a while, and I got another project I'm working on, which takes like 8 Shakespeare plays and kind of kind of creates them in a way. And so what's interesting about this is that Claire, who was with Grace Arts, who was in the chat earlier, she's been doing some things with Shakespeare for a while, and so we've been trying to work together for a minute. And so she reached out and she has this idea of hey, I want to do something with the Merchant of Venice. We start talking about it and things, and you know I'll just say this, like the conflict in Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice is connected to Judaism and Christianity. That's like one of the major conflicts there. And we wanted to set this play in South Florida. So the play is set in 1940s and 50s, Fort Lauderdale area, and then Colortown, which was what Overtown was called in that time. So they decided to cut the grass. I don't know if you hear that outside, but so it was set. So the play is set in 1940s and 50s, in those historically Black communities. And so the idea of having the conflict be Judaism versus Christianity doesn't really work. So what I did, there is a different kind of conflict, and that Black folks were having at that time about who we are and what pushes us forward. And so that's at the center of it. But a lot of it is based off of some real life people that lived during that time. Research was done, and we pulled stories and kind of molded them to fit and kind of crafted these different composites of people, these real life, ancestors of ours, and to help tell this story.
I'm so excited. You know, I'm like a history buff. I love politics. I love history. So to know that your muse was Overtown, basically, like the historic community. If you guys saw One Night in Miami, hello, that was the hub of where Black entertainers could stay when they were playing Miami Beach and when they were playing certain clubs here in South Florida. It was a mecca of Black art, Black culture. You could imagine, and shout out to Regina King, the writer director that kind of took this same approach, looking back at what it must have been like for the ancestors to meet in Miami. So I got goosebumps just thinking about how beautifully this weaves in some of our, what should I say, like our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew it was our culture. Just okay, the play is with Black actors, right? But the beauty is that you've taken some of the real life experiences from people who lived in that segregated yet thriving community and did the research and kind of wove that into this play. I'm already stoked. Okay, I'm just really excited thinking about that. That's
So,
lovely. How long? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, shout out to Imana Latifa, who helped with researching. She's an
Okay.
amazing historian in her own right. So, between her and myself, it took a while, like, to dig just to kind of get some things, in that process of trying to, you know, figure out and put this thing together. A lot of the stuff you don't use, right? You get a lot of stuff, you get a lot of information, and
Yeah.
and it kind of but it's there, and so a lot of it I might not have like based this character on this one particular person, but the fact that this person wore a certain thing, and or had a certain kind of they were what the first person in Miami to register to vote. So now that is kind of implemented it into the story.
Right.
You know, basically trying to pull out these particular nuggets, these important pieces that help create full characters, but also help give some light and some shine and honor to these folks.
I love it. I think we're answering this, Andrew. Thank you. Great question. How do you choose your plays? What is your process? Yeah, so just thinking about this wonderful play that's going to be featured this weekend only. So come through, especially my folks in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach. Support very unique, what should I say, takes on Black life, because it's not just about that art. It's now telling the story of, based on and inspired by real Black life, as it was back in the day, which I really am like excited about. Like I love, historical pieces anyway. So hearing that beyond the Shakespeare history and putting us in the middle of the story, making us center of the story is wonderful and a very interesting take. So I was going to ask you, how long did it take you to write this? When they say, come on, we want to do something with Shakespeare,
Yeah.
what is that process like for you to come up
Um.
with even this concept?
Yeah. So I mean, this particular thing, it took me a good 2 months to get like a reasonable draft of it in the first place, to kind of um get where I want to. I started and I had a draft, and I was like 3/4 through it. I'm like, yeah, this is not the right direction. It is. This not. This doesn't feel good. It isn't telling the story that I want to tell, and I think that that it could actually tell. So yeah, I kind of just threw that away. I kind of tossed that away, and went back to the drawing board and kind of got down to the crux of what is at the heart of this that I want to tell, and what I want people to take from this and experience from this, and kind of had to dig deep and kind of figure that out. And then once I kind of got that, like, okay,
Yeah.
this, and then like, okay, cool. Then how do I tell that? And that became
Yeah. I
easier.
love it. Always start with intention first. I
Yeah.
do that with my conferences. I do that with workshops and brunch. Like, what do I want people to leave here saying? What do I want people to experience while they're here? And then you can kind of craft what you want. RM is already on it. How to get the free tickets. But if you have 5 and up,
Yeah.
Mr. Daughtry has made it so that we can go. I'm like, we already in here. Let me collect the troops up. I want my ladies. If man, I got to figure out my timing first though.
Mm,
5 deep is definitely doable,
yeah.
to come and support beautiful art. So thank you so much, RM. The code for, if you have 5 RCPs or more, She Got Game Group is the code on Eventbrite to make sure you get all of the free freebies for those attendees. If again 5 or more, his socials are in the chat. Greetings, Veggie. I see you. Thank you. Oh, good question. And thank you. Is it about racism? And to my brother, Ike, oh, Giamian with the 50 on the super. Thank you on this beautiful, happy 4th and happy everything to you. Thank you for supporting the stream. He did a wonderful stream with me. Go back and watch how to handle stress. How to
Mm,
handle stress. And a lot of people, I think, would, especially in this time that we live in, we are back to quote normal without being back to quote normal. normal. So he gave some great tips. Thank you, Ike, for showing love and support in the content, my brother, on the big super chat. So Miss Creative asked, is it about racism? How would you answer that?
um, I would say we live in America,
Mm,
and for Black people, is it about racism, right? Like, how do you think about life, and
right.
so it may not racism per se in anything may not be the most overt and direct thing that you're talking about, But at the end of the day, because we live in a country that literally this foundation of it is white supremacy, right? And so, like that's at the crux of so much that we do. And so, is the play about racism? No, it's about love. It's about just humanity. Um, but there is a clear indication of the time where we are. So again, it's the 1940s and 50s.
Yeah, I was about to say, just by the time that it's placed
Wow.
in and it's inspired by, I think the realities of Black folks at that
Yeah.
time
Yeah. So
were
it's
an overt racism.
100%. Right.
So
So
I don't think it's something to shy away from,
right.
especially if it's a time, piece where it's like I'm being inspired by this certain decade. I'm thinking like August Wilson and stuff. That's what you have to. The art reflects the time in which it was inspired. So
100%. Yeah.
yeah, I see, but there are other parts of the story of Black folks' lives.
Yeah.
So even though sometimes we talk about folks at, slavery is where our history started. Absolutely not.
Right.
We are so much more complex. We had so many more experiences, even in this country, thank God, during that horrific period, thank God.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's difficult sometimes to pull out those stories and teach them in a vacuum because they were influenced by the
100%.
overarching what should I say?
Climate.
That we were in. So good question, the Miss Creative. But
Yeah,
as I already knew the answer because I'm like, if it was inspired by Overtown or Colored Town as it was known in 1940s Miami, it's going to have elements of what the reality of those people.
It's going to have elements. So but I don't want you to think that
it's not going to bring you down and make you feel sad about life. That's what she wants to know.
This is a racism play, which is nothing wrong with that because some of the stuff I do is about we're gonna get down to it or we're gonna make
it needs to be
but this here it's about people, it's about humans, and it's about the complexities of human relationships, familial, platonic, all of that. So it's all about all of that, and it's set in 1940s and 50s South Florida, which is the South, so. If it was not it,
a lot of people like that think Miami didn't have its overtly, like we had I forget the guy's name, Miami police chief. Oh my goodness, it was a lot going on down here. Lynchings and all kinds of stuff. We definitely have part of that Southern
for sure
history that sometimes people think Miami's so multicultural now. It was very, very divisive back in the day, and the lives of the people who lived down here. Shout out to the ancestors. It reflected as such. So definitely have to tell the truth and incorporate all aspects of Black life, and definitely those limitations were a part of Black life. So thank you again, Ike. So we have a few minutes left. Anybody want to come up and join the convo? You don't have to. I'm really grateful that we're just kind of, liming on this beautiful July 4th, enjoying a kind of kickback, relax is what I mean by lime. Somebody says, I'm excited too. I wish I could fly and catch the show. I hear you, sis. Yes, somebody's like, you know what? Yes, Darius is a show can be found on Merchants of Venice. Again, all Black cast of a Shakespeare / modern day or historical modern day take on life. And I just love it through the Black lens, Black experience. It's beautiful to even again, the concept. I can't wait to see it. So yes, find all his info. I want to ask for your final words, sir, as we wrap up. Black excellence is everywhere, says Reese. Yes, let's go. Subscribe to. I didn't know you had a YouTube channel too, sir. You actually active on your YouTube?
Nah, not like I should be. Like I
you out here writing plays. You ain't got to be on YouTube.
I'm inspired though. Like I'm inspired by you.
We got the YouTube community. Miss AKA is like history is about racism. There's a lot in that experience. Absolutely. Shout out again to Ike O on the big super chat. Thank you so much. Yes, Easy Gospel Piano Lesson says great topic. He says it's the 4th. We got that jerk chicken on the grill. I'm trying to find somebody. My lunch plans just got canceled. I was like, Uh,
need to get a plate myself.
yeah,
I
I'm
need to
like,
get
where can I get a plate real quick? Nobody's
yeah,
barbecuing. I'm trying to find real quick
yeah.
some conch salad,
Mm,
some steamed fish or fish on the grill, island style. That's what I want. So
mm,
yeah, I will find a place. I got the makeup on. I'm gonna find somewhere to go really shortly here. Yes, easy. I want him to send me a plate too.
yeah.
Yes, but now absolutely, Florida is the South, but I would say in the last 30 to 40 years, they have always had, like I said, the Bahamians who came here in the 20s, 3 and 4 generations deep now. So you have Nassau's and you have folks that came from the Caribbean. It was kind of always a gateway of such. But yes, definitely was the South influenced by the Caribbean. In more recent years, more heavily than in past years. I would say definitely post 70s. But yes, 100%. I see so many of you guys. Yeah, let me plug tomorrow's show. Why don't you? I'm just gonna sorry, Darius. I'm gonna take a point of personal privilege here. Let me see. Tomorrow, Sandy B gonna be coming through. Sandy B Law is gonna talk the Chadwick Boseman estate. You guys know Sandy B does estates law, estates and trust. She's also the host of Learn Biz, the podcast, and she will be here. Hit the like button, y'all, as we wrap up. She will be here as my special guest tomorrow, Tuesday, at 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you are curious about what happened with Chadwick's money because he did not have will, well, how much his wife got, how much his family had, other folks got a piece of it, it's very important to know why we have to be prepared. Again, we educate, we uplift, we inspire over here on the Suzette Speaks show. So tomorrow, check us out. Thursday, I won't be live. I will be emceeing and moderating a political debate here in South Florida. So I won't be here Thursday, but we're back at it Saturday. So definitely come through Chadwick Boseman Estate. Hit the like button, y'all. Tomorrow is our subject matter, and I'm really excited to have Sandy B. Law join me. But Darius, you have final thoughts about your play, darling? I want to know last impressions you want to give us before, don't give us too much before we get our own tickets and enjoy this weekend's take on Black Shakespeare through the eyes of writer-director Darius V. Daughtry, Merchants of Venice. Get your tickets now. Links in the chat right now. So final takeaways or final thoughts you want to leave with folks who are interested in the play that you want to kind of give them to take them over the edge.
So I'll say this: there are, beyond myself and whatever you might think of me, there are some amazingly talented performers that are part of this, and just them alone, like despite whatever I had written or how I directed, just what they're going to bring to the space and to the experience is worth the price of admission already. There's a little bit of music, there's a little bit of dance. It's not a musical, but there's a little bit of music, a little bit of dance in it. And these are extremely talented actors and artists who, some of them. I mean, you might want to be like, oh, I saw this person win. Oh man, I remember that guy. I saw him when I went to see that play, because they're destined to do great and amazing things. So that should be a reason why you should come through. Also, just to support, like I mentioned, it's to support us. Like the arts itself is vital, and for artists we need support. And so anytime that you can come and support artists like myself and spaces like the Black Box Theater and organizations like mine and Grace Arts and and these actors, when you can support them, you're helping build community. And we need each other. So this play is about us needing each other, and that ain't changed. So yeah, we love your support. I'd love the support come out for that. As I mentioned, I got and then 2 weeks later, I have a reading of another original play called Seeking, which represents some of the Gullah culture. And so that's happening on the 23rd and 24th as well. So
oh, y'all gonna have to check out the website. He keeps it coming. Not the Get You Gullah culture. I'm so excited. There's so many parts of the Black experience in the United States to explore. So many stories that have not been told. And I'm just grateful that we have storytellers and griots like yourself that are empowered now to create from their lens to open us up to conversations, to open up the greater population to conversations about the Black experience. And I'm grateful. This is American culture. Let's go. This is American culture. Let's go. So I'm grateful that on a day like July 4th, we can talk about it and we can bring it to the fore for the people to enjoy. Y'all, I hope y'all have enjoyed this look behind the curtain. We still got questions coming in, but we got to go. But yes, Miss AKA Lady asked, real quick before we head out, I'm from North Florida, and the chitterling circuit, yes, is a huge part. I think Miami was considered a part of the chitterling circuit, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, time out. You can't call it the chitterling circuit.
It's chitterling circuit. I was pronouncing every vowel. Chitterling.
No.
The chitterling circuit. Yes, we know how to really say it, but I was doing it for YouTube, sir. I was doing it for you. But absolutely, every Black talent came through Miami. Like, it was huge.
And Fort Lauderdale.
Pardon?
Fort Lauderdale. So
and Fort Lauderdale, absolutely. Fort Lauderdale. And I heard there was a theater up in Palm Beach too. There was a theater up in Palm Beach. So yeah, they came right down what would be the coastline. Absolutely. So it's wonderful. Again, as a person who reverences our history, wants everybody to know about it and wants everyone to enjoy and learn from it. This is the type of play, y'all, we need. So shout out again. Thank you so much to my moderator. So busy putting out the information about where to find more about Darius, where to get your tickets. Again, 5 or more people that book a ticket, they get a free pass. Oh my gosh. Use the code on your screen. She Got Game Group on Eventbrite. That's 5 or more. Y'all bring those people. Don't just be... You know, people get like the cancellations. Tell 6 people. Tell 6, and you know how it goes. Sometimes you live in that world where, you know, people have so much going on. We don't like, you know, the flake out, but it's possible things. It's possible. So tell a backup. Happy 4th, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for our next show. And I appreciate you so much for being here, Darius. I really enjoyed this chat. Y'all come on by tomorrow. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on your way out. All right, my friends, have a good one. See you guys soon. Take care. Bye now.
Much.